Recently, I've been in the mood to talk about future Red Dead Online updates. With 2021 hitting, I really wanted to look to the future of this game, hoping that 2021 will be so much better than 2020 with content. And we did briefly cover this in a few previous videos. In the previous video, I talked about Outlaw Pass 5, which did break down absolutely everything, including how you can prepare for this content. But I have seen a few comments, there's also been a few tweets, and there's also been people dropping in the Twitch streams to even talk about this, and this is the trader enhancement, which is supposedly the next update. So in this video, I'm going to be going through absolutely everything again, which covers the trader enhancement, and also telling you why I don't think it's the next update. But before I do get into the video, if you do want to see any more content from me, there is a link in the description down below, which will take you over to the Twitch stream. I currently stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we're playing a variety of different games, with Red Dead popping up once per week. If you can't catch the streams, but it is something you're interested in, we have also put together a third channel which covers all the best and funny moments from what happens during these live streams. So links to absolutely everything can be found in the description down below. So getting back into the video, with the release of the Bounty Hunter Enhancement update, there was also a number of different leaks that were released to the public, which points to future content. We covered one last week being Outlaw Pass 5, but it did raise the question because people wanted to know about the trader enhancement. And the reason I didn't include it as part of the video is because I think the Outlaw Pass 5 is guaranteed to be next, but I don't think the trader enhancement is the next update. But before I tell you why I don't think it is, we need to go through why everyone else thinks that the next update is going to be a trader enhancement. So firstly, we have a liveries button. As part of the Bounty Hunter update, we got liveries for the Bounty Hunter wagon. This is a way for you to customize your Bounty Hunter wagon by spending money or gold on different types of styles. Obviously, we are not here to talk about the Bounty Hunter, we are here to talk about the trader. And some of you have noticed that there is now a liveries button which is grayed out, which you can find under customization for the hunting wagon. Now this is one of the things that has led many players to believe that the next update is a trader enhancement. To me, this is logical for Rockstar to do this in the future, but it doesn't actually mean it's the next update. For you to go and bring a button and bring it across to another area which has a very similar feature, it saves time and it saves money for Rockstar. For Rockstar, as well as any game company for that matter, if you know you're going to use a feature more than once or a variation of that feature, you can actually start putting the foundation into where else you're going to use it within the game. And that is what I think's happened here. What is very likely to have happened is Rockstar developed the liveries button for the Bounty Hunter, and then for them to pretty much copy and paste that button for the trader and then just disable it for now until they're ready to add liveries for the hunting wagon at a later date. It sounds very dull and boring when I put it like that, but I can actually do the exact same thing in a game engine. On the screen right now, you are seeing a quick mock-up of what I've put together, which is based off the customization that Rockstar have for Red Dead. When I click on the liveries button, it opens up all the options for liveries, and you can all see the different and very rough examples. What I believe Rockstar has done is duplicate the button, change its position and where you navigate to find it, and then just disable it so no one's able to click on it. The functionality is still there in the background, but there's no content backing it right now with the hunting wagon liveries. It is literally just here so that at a later date, any developer can carry on the work that was left off, and they don't have to break down all the code for the bounty hunting livery system just to rework the trader system. So this does mean at some point we'll get liveries for the trader, and it makes sense for it to be under a trader enhancement or a future role. But this doesn't mean that it's the next major update we're getting. I don't think this shows enough of anything for it to be the next update. And this is where it goes on to the next point, which is the voices which were leaked as part of the Bounty Hunter update. Now, before I go through anything, I have credited the people that have actually found this. We have Rockstar Guides, who found 300 different character lines added to the game. Their link is in the description down below, as well as we also have Hazard's video, which went crazy in depth in all of these different areas, which we're not going to be going crazy in depth over here. We're just going to be doing a quick overview. But with my previous video where we talked about Outlaw Pass 5, this is the video you guys are all referencing. So there'll also be a link to this in the description down below as well. I do recommend that you watch that video so that you have all the information before we carry on with this video. So there were 300 character lines which were added to the game with the Bounty Hunter update, and Rockstar Guides actually links this back to Seth Bryars, which is a character from Red Dead Redemption 1. and I would definitely say that they do sound very similar. It's not exactly the same, but bear in mind that Red Dead Online is set in 1897 and Red Dead Redemption 1 is set in 1911. If you take the lines that Rockstar Guides released and add 14 years plus also a bit of craziness, there you go, it's pretty much the exact same voice. There's also a bit more to back this up for it to be Seth Breyers, because back in the Naturalist update, a young Seth Breyers character model was added to the game, which Videotech shared on Twitter. Their link is also in the description down below. I never did a video on this back when this was first released because I didn't have much to say. I remember talking about it briefly on stream and I said that it could potentially be a stranger mission. But with all the new information, this is starting to sound like an ending of a mission, very similar to what we have with the trader. For example, when you do a resupply mission, when you bring all the supplies back to camp, you always get a one-liner for cribs. And these sound very similar, but there is no reason to link this back to the trader. It definitely doesn't sound like cribs for this to be a trader enhancement. It doesn't sound like any character we currently have within the game. This does sound most like a young Seth Breyers, or it can be a completely different character who we've never ever met before within the series. When listening to what's being said, it definitely sounds like we need to gather some sort of resources and bring it back to this character, but at no point does it mention the trader, at no point does it mention cribs, and at no point does it mention any type of animal that you're bringing back. This could be a tier 3 of the trader. It definitely sounds like we need to get something to bring it back to the character to profit on, which could also be a new type of business added to the game. We might need to play through the trader and moonshine to get access to this role, but it's not actually an enhancement for the trader, very similar to what we had with the enhancement for the bounty hunter, which changed the bounty hunter. It could also be something that points to something similar to the collector. Now, before anyone says it, I know that this is all speculation, but what actually brought all of this up in the first place about this being a trade enhancement was speculation in the first place. What I'm trying to do here is just clear some things up. And this also brings us on to the next point. This is the taxidermy, which has been talked about quite a few times, and there's also been leaks to it with the Bounty Hunter update and also the update before, which was the Naturalist update. Yet again, I'm not going to be going crazy in depth with how all of this was brought up. Hazard has done an in-depth video covering this. Pretty much, if you don't know, taxidermy is the art of preparing, stuffing and mounting the skins of animals with lifelike effect. And what I've seen is that there is quite a few players that have been trying to link the taxidermy leaks back to the leaks with the voices. But as already previously mentioned, at no point does it ever talk about animals or taxidermy within these lines. There's mentions of birds once, but this is more of a metaphor about killing birds with one stone. Not to mention that if we are all in agreement that this is a young Seth talking, at no point in Seth's history has he been a taxidermist or linked to anyone in that field from the history that has been revealed. For Red Dead Redemption 1, it says this: Breyers has a history of working with Bill Williamson, but is largely uninvolved with the gang lifestyle due to his pursuit of treasure. Is this history which Marston exploits to gain entrance to Fort Mercer in the assault of Fort Mercer. Seth Breyers was also formerly associated with Moses IV, his treasure-seeking partner. After Moses stole a treasure map, Seth became obsessed with getting it back. This obsession has caused him to lose his family, his business, and most of his mind. His previous experiences were linked to prospecting, and there is no link whatsoever to him hunting or even being a taxidermist. So I believe if this voice is Seth Breyers and this is a new role coming to the game, whether it be another tier to the trader or another tier to the collector, the taxidermy skill doesn't belong to it. Now we could try and link the taxidermy skill back to the trader role, or it could belong to part of the update when it was first leaked, the naturalist for the trapper. If you remember the introduction of the naturalist, you meet Harriet Davenport and Gus McMillan. Gus McMillan is walking down the stairs with a panther and says to the hotel manager it's going above the mayor's bed and Mrs. Hobbs will be by to handle the taxidermy.
It's a panther!
You savage!
And a nice clean one now, too. This is going above the mayor's bed. Okay, Mrs. Hobbs will be by to handle the taxidermy.
Not to mention that the panther was left in a hotel in Strawberry, and there is a building literally around the corner which is dedicated to taxidermy. Those of you that did play Red Dead Redemption 2 when it was first released, You may remember there was quite a few clips of this going round. At the beginning, you were able to clip through the wall and you were able to walk around this fully polished house with many different animal mounts everywhere. I believe this taxidermy skill could either belong to the naturalist with Gus, or it could be part of a completely different role in the future, which would be a taxidermist, which yet again will be another tier from the naturalist. So with all this information that I've seen in my Twitch chats about a trader update coming next, there's really not enough for me to say that a trader is the next update. Through my experience, most game companies work at least 1 year in advance. So this means that the content that we'll be getting a year from now has already been planned. And it's also not the case of them having it planned and only just starting to work. Most of it mechanically would already be there. It's about them getting all the different assets in place and polishing it up, making sure that there's only a limited amount of bugs, and then push that out to the public, which is the longest process of making any type of content for a game. But with there also being content planned years in advance, it also means that there's a number of different things going on at the exact same time. So just because we're getting a couple different leaks in a row, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's all part of the exact same update. Some of this content that we're seeing could be part of the next major update. There's also stuff that may be part of the update after that. There's also stuff that may be part of the update after that. And sometimes you get situations where content is planned, but eventually it gets scrapped, but the content still remains within the games. And there's also situations after this stage where content has been scrapped, but they decide to revive it a few years later and they bring that content back. So there's so many different things happening at the exact same time. So this also means that everything that is leaked doesn't necessarily mean that it's part of the exact same update. So just because there's a liveries button which points to a trader enhancement in the future, doesn't mean that everything else that gets leaked around it is also part of a trader enhancement, which also suggests that it's the next update. Personally, my belief is that these are multiple roles coming in the future. We have a trader enhancement which is in the works. We have a role which links back to Seth Breyers, which could be a spin-off from the collector or a spin-off from the trader. And then we also have a taxidermist which could link to Gus McMillan, or it could be part of a full new role which is Mrs. Hobbs. And one of these roles could be part of the next major update, or it could be part of a major update way in the future. It could also be content which is planned but eventually it gets cancelled. There are so many other explanations which can make sense of these leaks other than it just being a trader enhancement. But anyway guys, that is this video. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. After all of this, do you still believe that all the content that has been mentioned in this video is still part of a trader enhancement, or do you think that this is multiple updates in the work which could be for 2021, maybe even 2022, maybe even pushing 2023? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you do want to see any more content from me, I am streaming over on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. We could talk a bit more in depth about future updates. If you are interested in tuning into the streams but you just don't have time, you can actually find a third channel which I've created which covers all the best moments, all the funny moments from the live streams. Link to all of this can be found in the description down below. Anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going. So see ya.